Hi all my favorite miners. In this video we will watch how we can create a very simple linked list that contains integers. Did I ever tell you that a linked list in Java is not a real thingy? It is not a real thing in the sense that the core syntax of Java programming language does not contain linked list as a data structure. That is, a linked list is not integrated within the language like an array is. You will create a linked list by taking the advantage of object-oriented programming concept of Java. Of course, there is java.util.linkedList that has a rich set of functionality, but it is not in the code of the language. It is in a package. Moreover, use of java.util.linkedList is strictly prohibited in this course. Anyway, let us watch how we can create our first linked list of our own that contains 3 linked integers in a sequence. We are creating a linked list that contains 3 objects. So let's draw those 3 objects. And these 3 objects must contain a number in each of them. So let's assume that those numbers are 20, 30, and 10. So it's a linked list. But if it is a linked list, there must be links in between 2 consecutive numbers. So between 20 and 30, there should be a link. Between 30 and 10, there should be another link. And after 10, there is no other link. So that link should be represented by a null. Each of these boxes is generally called a node. So we will write a node class. In another class, we will create 3 node objects. Afterwards, we will connect the 3 node objects using some links to form a linked list. My file name is node.java, so my class name is going to be node. So I'm writing class node as the status variable or variables. I'm going to write one integer data. So it's going to be a very simple class with almost nothing inside it but a data variable named data. So I'm writing another class named myTest. So this class is written in a file named mytest.java. myTest. So now inside this I'm going to write a main method. So basically, as a program, this method, this class is my main program that will use this node object or node class. It will create objects from this node class. So let me write the main method here first. So public static void main. If I haven't already discussed what does it mean by public static void main, then these arguments here, I'll describe them in the class. Now I'm creating one object, one node object. So this is my data type node, and this is actually the data type I have. So node, let's call it n1. My constructor, I'm calling the constructor node. So as you know that even if I do not write any constructor here explicitly, I have one default constructor, so I can use this default constructor here. Ignore this red underlines for now. This is coming from the editor because the editor is not able to locate this node.java file. But syntactically it's correct. So now notice that I can say n1.data since n1 is a node type and data is here. So I can say n1.data equals whatever value I want to put there. Then I can create another variable named n2, and I can say n2.data equals, let's say, 30. I can create another node named n3 and I can say that and3.data is equal to 10. The basic idea here, I'm trying to create a linked list, but notice that there is no link between n1, n2, and n3. I want to place n1 as the head node. Then I want to place n2 as the next node of n1, and I want to place n3 as the next node of n2. I haven't done anything with the links yet. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put something called next. What should be the data type of this variable next? Basically, the next node is also a node object, so the data type of the next node is going to be node. So now that we have this next variable, we can easily define the links. So here where we have n1 in this part, so now what we'll do is we'll say that okay, n1 dot next is equal to n2. So what we have done here is from n1 we can now move to n2 just by saying n1 dot next. Now here we can say that okay, n2 dot next is equal to n3, which is good. So now we have our linked list with the head n1. Even if we lose the address locations, even if we lose the references n2 and n3, we can eventually traverse the entire linked list only if we have n1 in the main memory. For example, we can actually traverse this linked list starting from n1. Let's do it quickly. Let's print all the numbers here in this linked list starting from n1. We'll not use n2 or n3 as our variables in this part while we are traversing. So let's create a temporary node first. So node temp. So we'll be using this temp to traverse this entire linked list. So we are starting from n1. So while temp is not equal to null, of course here the first node is not null because we have created this one. We'll say system dot out dot print line. What do we want to print? We want to print the number we have inside. Now this is just like a for loop. At the end of the loop, basically we increment the index, but here in a linked list we don't have an index, so the increment operation is translated as this. n1 is my current node, so I want to move to the next one, so I want to change temp to n1 dot next, but n1 is not visible in this part. Basically what we want to do is we want to set temp equals temp dot next. So now this code will actually print all the elements in this linked list. So let's compile this and run this. Here is the terminal I have. So in this terminal, basically I will go to the directory where I have put all my codes, so I'm moving there. So now I have reached to the directory where I have those two files. One is node.java and the other one is mytest.java. So if I type ls, it will show me that I have mytest.java and node.java. So what I will do is I'll compile mytest.java, and once I compile it, and if we look at the directory, you will see that mytest.class is generated and node.class is also generated. So when I compile just one file, if this file is using another class and if that class is already present in the current directory, then Java compiler will compile that one, the other one as well. So I have Java compiler has generated my test.class as well as node.class. So now it's time to run it. So let's run my test. Notice that we cannot run node because node does not have a main method. We wrote our main method in my test, so we are running Java my test. So that means my test.class will be executed by the Java virtual machine. Let's do the execution. Let's hit enter. Okay, so we have 20, 30 and 10 printed on the terminal, and notice that in the first node we kept 20, then we stored 30, then we stored 10. So 20, 30, 10, all these numbers are printed using this loop. So hope this simple practice of creating a linked list is clear enough so that we can practice more complex problems. Didn't I tell you that there is nothing special about linked list? It is just object-oriented programming. In this course, you will see that most of the data structures we are learning do not really exist in the core language. Rather, we are leveraging the object-oriented paradigm. We'll discuss more exciting things in the class. See you there. Don't miss classes. Don't quit school. Don't do drugs. I'm kidding. But anyway, don't ever do those things. Bye bye.